there was just a time when everybody set their cell phone down and we did something in nature, whether it was snowboard or rock climb or a cycle or whatever it was, or surf as a group. We went out and we just spent a lot of time in nature, to the point where we forgot about our own cell phones.
Hello and welcome to the Pacific Channel. I'm your host, Steve Doherty. This audio clip is about parenting. If you're a parent, you may have noticed that children don't come with a manual, right? And even if they did, it wouldn't matter because every child is so different. In this audio clip, a woman asked Dr. Joe Dispenza, what is the best way to introduce Dr. Joe's information to your children? She has an 8-year-old who is open, but a 15-year-old who is not. Dr. Joe answers her by first saying that her teenager is going through a dramatic neurochemical hormonal change. If you've had children, you will know that is a fact. So, according to Dr. Joe, their quest for individuality and identity is going to be way more important than almost any information that parents share with them. And what I like to add is that every child is so different. And just because you have a young child who is agreeable now, it doesn't mean at all that they will be later. I speak about that from experience. When children become teenagers, Dr. Joe will say they are searching for something else other than their relationship with their family. So they are less receptive to that information. So the best thing that you can do is to lead by example. Show them what emotional intelligence is, what playfulness is, what creativity is. Ask them questions that help them think for themselves. It is so hard to be a good parent, even when you have the greatest intentions. You can love your children more than life itself and still make lots of mistakes. But you know what is good to know? Everything always works out in the end. Every negative thing that your child does or exposes themselves to will be something that they will learn from, and they will find their own balance. Let's listen to Dr. Joe as he gives really good, sound advice on how to parent.
I'm your host, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Let's begin.
Hi, thank you so much. So, hi, Dr. Joe. Thank you for everything. I'm really grateful. And my question is, what is the best way to introduce this work to your children? I have an 8-year-old who's curious and open, and a 15-year-old who's acting kind of like a hormonal teen and is not really receptive and is not wanting to connect in the 3D realm right now. So I'm just curious, in those two circumstances, one who's open and one who's kind of in a neuro breakdown.
Well, I mean, God, there's nothing like knowledge and information. First of all, your teenager is going through a dramatic neurochemical hormonal change that's going on a very, very deep and intimate level. And so their quest for individuality and identity is going to be far more important to them than information that's coming from the person people they just spent the last 14, 13 years of their life with. They're searching for something else other than the relationship in their family. So they're less receptive to that information, without a doubt. Let's pause for that for a moment and talk about my idea about raising young people, like 6, 7, 8-year-old children in this work. I really believe that parenting is the fast track to enlightenment, simply because you have to be the example. You have to show your children exactly what it looks like, and to lead by example, to show them what emotional intelligence is, show them what playfulness is, show them what creativity is, show them what curiosity is. Ask them questions and not give up on them when they say, I don't know. Engage in a contemplative dialogue with them that causes them to think for themselves. understand that their brain waves at certain levels cause them to be more receptive to information, and as they age, their brain waves speed up and they become more analytical and critical of information that isn't equal to what they want to experience. So all these things are pretty much biological processes that happen as the result of hormonal changes. Raising your kids as an example of what you want them to be is activating mirror neurons in the brain. Mirror neurons in the brain are empathy neurons. They model behaviors. And I was just with a friend of mine at the event. He came to the event and he brought his wife and new baby, and we were all laughing because when you feed a baby, you actually make the face that you want them to make when you want them to eat. You open your mouth with them so that they watch you do that, and they actually open your mouth. You're not conscious a lot of times that you're doing that, but you're doing that to show them. It's kind of innate what to do. And so children model behaviors, and it's so important for them to model your behaviors. It has a dramatic effect on them, and that means you would have to be conscious in that process. I think that it's so important also to do your best to never reason with children when they're in an emotional state. No one wants to be reasoned with when they're emotional. They want to be left alone. No information could make it in to make any reason or sense to any of us when we're in that emotional state, especially children. If you wait for that emotional state to pass and hours later you talk to them about what you're working on in your life changing, and be sincere, more than likely they'll tell you exactly what they saw about themselves that they wanted to change, especially if it's related to some emotional state that they can become conscious of. If you're successful in doing that, then one of the things I think also is important to children is teaching them how to change their emotional states. Whether you take them out on the trampoline when they're upset until they forget, or you do deep breathings with them, or you play the change game or the stop game, whatever it is that helps them to break from that emotional state would be an invaluable tool for them as they grow up in their lives. I think it's essential that there's time when you reason with your children before they go to bed, because that's when they're most suggestible, and making it a little bit of a ritual where you climb in bed with them, or you sit next to the bed with them, or you lay on the couch across from them, or everybody's laying down, and you get them all in the same place, and you talk to them about either things you're working on in your life or things about life that you've been thinking about, and you just open it up to conversations. I think you'll be really surprised at how brilliant your kids are, and help them when they have challenges in their life in that state, to really help them. Okay, let's figure this out together. Like, I don't care what happened, I just care about if it happened again, how you would do it differently. Let's talk about another way to do it. If it comes again, how you can do it differently, because it may come again. And have them start and question if that's the best thing, because it may lead to this, and have them reason, oh my gosh, that's not right either, and use your wisdom to help them get an understanding of what they could possibly do, and have them close their eyes and rehearse it with you so that they could do it, and make it a game. See them during the day and ask them, what would you do if that happened again? Keep it on their conscious mind, so they have that hardware in place, and then teach them that there are other emotions that they can feel that are loving to them and that do feel good, and that they can do that without needing anybody to do that for them, and that's important for kids to learn and to understand at that point in their lives, and give them the facts and watch them interpret the laws. Give them information without drawing conclusions, and watch if they really could understand the information. They're going to dovetail it into something really wonderful and really brilliant. As far as a teenager goes, many of them are losing half of the synaptic connections in their brain. And as a result of that, they're not going to make a whole lot of sense, because they're going to flourish a whole new set and create an evolved version of that person before they became an adult. And, on some level, you're going to have to give them enough room to make mistakes, and at the same time, work with them when they do make those mistakes, and ask them if they're happy with themselves, and give them opportunities to make those mistakes, and to really help them change and grow from them. There's great neuroscience out there. Two books that I always recommend everybody reading is the male brain and the female brain, and they're both just great chronological age ranges for both male and female brains, and it's so rich in so many insights about understanding your kids at that age, and you'll see it in a way that's less personal, and you'll just see it's just something that they're going through, and you'll remember yourself when you went through it. My biggest concern always with young people has to do with technology. I think it's essential in the world for us to use technology, without a doubt. The challenge and the problem that I have is that people get over-dependent on it, and they get overstimulated by it, and it affects their brain chemistry, and it affects their reward centers and their dopamine levels and their norepinephrine levels and their sense of reality and their brain waves and their attention, and causes many people to think instead of to think for themselves. Raising children during a time where technology is just advancing at such a rapid rate, and there's such a need for people to set those devices down, and people in your life actually will get mad if you don't have your device readily available to be able to respond. But with my kids, there was just a time when everybody set their cell phone down and we did something in nature, whether it was snowboard or rock climb or a cycle or whatever it was, or surf as a group. We went out and we just spent a lot of time in nature, to the point where we forgot about our own cell phones. And that is that narrow focus that tends to be based on attention, and technology could very well shorten our attention span. And then there's that open focus in nature that is so expansive and so beautiful and so big that it feels good to just do that and not look at your cell phone. And when you're out in nature, or you're in a forest or on a mountaintop or by the ocean or a sea or a lake, it's a natural thing for us to do that kind of gets us back in, get us back into nature. And so lead by example with your children, then give them an opportunity to lead, give them room to make mistakes, and be there for them to help evolve their experience of themselves to produce a different outcome. We are working on some young children's books with a wonderful artist and person from Mexico City, putting together some really basic morals for children to really get and understand through literature. And so curious minds, curious brains, creative minds, creative brains, not unoverly stimulated brains are really healthy, and letting kids, be bored sometimes. I mean, just without being stimulated, just have them lay around and think again and create again and imagine again, I think is super healthy.
We would love to give back to our Pacific family for all the love and support they have given us. We are offering 2 lucky winners a ticket to Dr. Joe Dispenza's week-long retreat in Sunshine Coast, Australia, worth $2,300 each. To enter the giveaway, you must be a subscriber to our channel Pacific. Like this video, comment how our channel has helped you. Share this video with any 5 people. And stay tuned on our channel as we will declare the winner soon. Please refer to the description below for more info. Good luck.
Dr. Joe said that as a young child ages, they become more critical, more analytical. He also said that children model our behavior. So if you show them anger, you teach them to be angry. If you show them love, you teach them to love. It's simple, right? He also said to not try to reason with them when they are emotional. So it wouldn't ever be a good idea to get into an argument with them. Wait hours and then talk to them about what you're working on in your life, which they will more than likely model so that they will then share what they are working on too. But start using this technique when they are young. Don't wait until they are teenagers to do that. Also, according to Dr. Joe, what you can do as a parent is to teach them how to change their emotional states. It's okay for your children to see you get upset. You're human too. Just make sure that you then demonstrate to them how to go from that state of being upset to your preferred state of being. Dr. Joe also said that the best time to discuss things with them is right before they go to bed, because that is when they are the most suggestible. I have good memories of having good conversations with my kids right before bed, but they always bugged me to tell scary stories, which I knew wasn't a good idea. So I'd make the scary story have a very happy ending, and they usually didn't like that. But if your child acts up or acts out, what you can do is what Dr. Joe said to do. Tell your child that you don't care about what happened. You only care about if it happened again, how would you do it differently? That's such great advice for children because it gets them to see that life is a process of improvement, of constantly looking to better oneself. Basically, what you're doing is helping your children to reprogram their automatic response with a new program beforehand so that they can handle the challenges of life better. Then Dr. Joe suggests having them rehearse what they would do differently next time. Teach them that there are other emotions that they can feel that are loving to them and that they can create for themselves. He also said that technology can really affect their brains and that it's very important to get them out into nature instead, because in nature, it's open focus, right? It's like open focus in the quantum field. He also said that as parents, we need to give our children room to make mistakes. And when they do, be there for them. Don't ever say something like, "I told you so." No one likes to hear that when they make a mistake. Just hold the space that you know that your child will be fine, and they're figuring it out that part of the process of life is making both good and bad decisions, and then making a course correction when it's a bad decision. He finally said that it's okay and good for them to get bored so that they can imagine again and create again. That's super healthy. Honestly, I wish I knew a lot of this when my 2 sons were younger. But regardless, I think that the most important gift that you can give to your children is your love. Because like the scriptures say, love covers a multitude of sins. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Our channel's goal is to make it to at least 100,000 subscribers so that we can improve the content and offer you more things. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Fiona Rasmunro. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly. Thank you for your compliment and for being a subscriber. And now, if you have any questions, please ask them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or leave a comment about what you think about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.